I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president.
Could this year get any fucking worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
To the Washington campus.
Square! Slash his throat! Every fucking Republican! Suck my fucking balls!
Say that one more time.
Slash Republican throats! Terrified! Listen to me, Republicans, listen! You are the people in history they warned us about! They warned us about people like you! Fuck off! Fuck off!
In the name of Jesus Christ, the saints and all the angels, I command you to reveal yourself!
I know I'm not exactly the voice that people need to be hearing right now. In fact, I need more confirmation that this is real. I've gotten some, but I need more confirmation that this is real. Trump supporters got an email that said that this email is for patriots only. You've been identified as one of President Trump's fiercest and most loyal defenders, and according to your donor file, you'd make an excellent addition to the Trump army. It goes on to tell them that they would get a limited edition camo Keep America Great hat, to let them know that you are the president's first line of defense when it comes to fighting off the liberal mob. I don't know if you know, Hitler made Jews wear yellow stars. This feels like the reverse of that.
Fuck off to people that are pro-life! I fucking hate you! Why can't women have abortions? I just...
You tweet a lot.
I use my tweets to express myself. Some people use their hair. I use Twitter.
Well, but you use your tweeting to kind of get back at critics.
Rarely.
You kind of have little wars with the press.
Twitter is a war zone. If somebody's going to jump in the war zone, it's like, okay, you're in the arena. Let's go.
Okay. Who does that sound like?
I don't know. Who's this sound like?
It sounds like a guy who lives at the White House.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, sure. He's very good at Twitter.
I know.
I think the president is amazingly good at Twitter.
The world's richest guy is set to buy one of the world's most influential social media companies. After weeks of uncertainty, Elon Musk struck a deal to buy Twitter at a price of roughly $44 billion. But the question is, what's he going to do with it?
This has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance. I can't believe.
Do you support him?
I think there are some things that I think are good.
Elon Musk is a guy that I like and respect, friend of mine.
Pay attention! We're losing our democracy! Wake up!
The problem of wokeness specifically, you mentioned that's like a mind virus and it's destructive. And why do you think wokeness is so destructive?
I'd be interested in your opinions too. But, you know, like, I mean, generally, I think we should be aiming for like a positive society, and you know, that it should be okay to, you know, be humorous. Like, you know, like we should like wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool.
We've experienced a little bit of that.
I mean, Chappelle, like what the
Flower bed.
I mean, try to shut down Chappelle? Come on, man, that's crazy. You know, so do we want a humorless society that is simply rife with condemnation and hate, basically?
And no forgiveness, right?
Yeah. At its heart, wokeness is divisive exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a reason. It gives them a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue. What do you think?
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously seen that from the left, just ourselves. The left is almost this religion now, where they're so serious and they believe what they believe with such intensity that for us to make fun of them, for them it's like you're making fun of God or salvation, So they're almost the new religious right, in our view.
Yeah.
So, Elon, a few hours ago, you made an offer to buy Twitter. Why?
How'd you know?
Little bird tweeted in my ear or something, I don't know. Why make that offer?
Oh, so, well, I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech, where all, Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square. It's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they are able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. And a good sign as to whether there is free speech is someone you don't like allowed to say something you don't like. And if that is the case, then we have free speech. And it's damn annoying when someone you don't like says something you don't like. That is a sign of a healthy, functioning, free speech situation.
I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter, because that is what free speech means.
Well, it looks like Twitter's gone. They accepted the money, and Elon Stalin is taking over. So fuck you, Twitter, and goodbye forever, you insane Q-like forum. Or soon to be insane like Q-like forum. Peace out! Bye!
I deactivated my account and deleted the app. That's what I think of it. Fuck Elon Musk.
Today, Twitter has announced that they've been bought by Elon Musk, or however you say his name. I'm not interested in staying on Twitter anymore because of this, and I think there's a lot of people that are about to leave. So I just wanted to let everyone know that you can find me here. I'm going to also share this on Twitter before I deactivate my account, so that anyone who wants to follow me can find me here as well.
Hey, I did a thing today. I deactivated my Twitter account. You can too.
The woke left is in absolute shock after losing their favorite woke platform. They're in shock, and they're actually canceling themselves.
Elon Musk is a guy that I like and respect, friend of mine. He runs an electric car company, is calling for Biden to increase oil and gas production. But Biden won't do it because he does not have the will to stand up to AOC. You know AOC, we call AOC.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like this is the war. This is our World War II.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us just how devastating a global cross-border threat can be. Climate change and biodiversity loss are no different. In fact, they pose an even greater existential threat. to the extent that we have to put ourselves on what might be called a warlike footing. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector.
But I'm much less of a climate alarmist than people might think. Although, of course, my words are taken, sometimes always amplified. But
how's it going to look like in 15 years? Better than today? Much better than today?
Oh, from a sustainable energy standpoint, much better. Yeah, much better.
So your bet is we are going to solve the climate issue?
Yes, absolutely. We will solve the climate issue. It's just a question of when. And I'd say like the fundamental good of Tesla should be thought of as by how many years did Tesla accelerate the sustainable energy revolution? And I've been interested in electric cars for a long time, since maybe high school, certainly early college. My original interest in electric vehicles was not so much due to environmental concerns, but rather from the concern that we'd run out of oil eventually, and or would become extremely scarce and expensive, and then civilization would collapse because we couldn't drive cars or run power plants and stuff. So we needed some form of sustainable energy generation and consumption, or civilization is going to collapse. So that was my original interest in electric vehicles and solar energy.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sort of into like vilifying the oil and gas industry, because I think the reality is like if we don't have oil and gas right now, civilization would collapse, and everyone would be starving. So we obviously need oil and gas right now. It would be absurd to just stop it. Like it's not feasible. But I do think we should be trying to accelerate progress towards a sustainable energy future, not slow it down. I think it's just a sensible thing to do to try to move faster to a sustainable energy economy rather than slower, because that reduces the risk of the climate experiment. And like I said, since we know we have to get to a sustainable energy economy anyway, why run this experiment? It's just not smart. Yeah. So I am not one of the doomsday people, which may surprise. I actually think we're on a good path. But at the same time, I want us to caution against complacency. So long as we are not complacent, as long as we have a high sense of urgency about moving towards a sustainable energy economy, then I think things will be fine. So I can't emphasize that enough. So long as we push hard and are not complacent, the future's going to be great. Don't worry about it.
There are many other people out there who can't stand this world of billionaires. Like they are hugely offended by the notion that an individual can have the same wealth as say, a billion or more of the world's poorest people.
If they examine I think there's some axiomatic flaws that are leading to them to that conclusion. If for sure it would be very problematic if I was consuming billions of dollars a year in personal consumption, but that is not the case. In fact, I don't even own a home right now. I'm literally staying at friends' places. If I travel to the Bay Area, where most of Tesla engineering is, I stay I basically rotate through friends' spare bedrooms. I don't have a yacht. I really don't take vacations. So it's not as though there's that my personal consumption is high. The one exception is a plane. But if I don't use the plane, then I have less hours to work. So,
I personally think you have shown that you are mostly driven by really quite a deep sense of moral purpose. Like you've tried your attempts to solve the climate problem have been as powerful as anyone else on the planet that I'm aware of. And I actually can't understand, personally, I can't understand the fact that you get all this criticism from the left about, oh my God, he's so rich, that's disgusting. When climate is their issue,
Yeah, so Tesla's made basically twice as many electric vehicles as the rest of industry combined. And we don't need the $7,500 tax credit. I would say, honestly, I would just can this whole bill. Don't pass it. That's my recommendation.
What about the support though for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill and no.
No, I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Okay, all right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies.
But
also for oil and gas. We should just if we don't cut government spending, something really bad's going to happen. This is crazy. Our spending is so far in excess of revenue. It's insane. Like you could zero out all billionaires in the country. There's all this like anti-billionaire BS. If you zeroed out all the billionaires, you still wouldn't solve the deficit. Government is a corporation in the limit. So it is the most corporate thing. It is maximum corporation, but it's also a monopoly, and also is the only one that's allowed legally to do violence. So why would you want to give a corporation with no competition that can't even really go bankrupt more money? So I'm not somebody who's sort of an extreme libertarian and thinks the government should not do anything. I just think we should minimize what the government does, because the government's efficiency at spending is just going to be lower than a competitive commercial company, but by a lot. If you look at, say, East Germany versus West Germany, or North Korea versus South Korea, and you look at the GDP per capita of East and West Germany or North and South Korea, the difference is gigantic. And that's just the difference, say, between East and West Germany. It's like a random line was drawn, basically, depending on where the Red Army was and where the Allied troops were. And East Germany's productivity was like at least 5 times worse than West Germany. And it's not like West Germany was like some bastion of capitalism. They were quite socialist, really. So there may be as much as an order of magnitude difference between the efficiency of a competitive private company versus the government.
There's not enough isolation between countries or regions. It's like if there's a mind virus, that mind virus can infect too much of the world. I actually sort of sympathize with the anti-globalization people, because it's like, man, we don't ever want everywhere to be the same, for sure, and then we need some kind of like mind viral immunity.
Versus?
Well, when I'm talking about a mind virus, I'm talking about like a concept that infects people's minds.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Like cult thinking or some sort of fundamentalism.
Yeah.
You talked about the woke mind virus, and I was wondering if you could decipher this tweet of yours for me, because
it is a prevalent mind virus, and arguably one of the biggest threats to modern civilization. Just simply look at the birth rate statistics. You can tell what the future is going to be like because you can see how many children were born last year, and then you can say, like, is the birth rate trending down or up? And it's been trending down basically almost everywhere. So if you look at the birth rate last year, you know how many adults there will be in 20 years because that's how many babies were born. The trend is like you don't have to be some master or statistician or something like that. You can just look at kids born last year trending to well below replacement rate, and a lot of countries have been well below replacement rate for a long time.
Well, the concern is that if you have kids, then they'll contribute to climate change, and then they'll kill the Earth, right? That's the leftist concern, is that we're overpopulating the Earth and that we're going to kill it. Are you trying to overpopulate the Earth so that we can go to Mars and take over Mars?
The Earth is far from overpopulated.
Is this a deliberate strategy?
The Earth is far from overpopulated. Far from overpopulated. Yeah, so most people in the world are operating under the false impression that there are too many people. This is not true. Earth could maintain a population many times the current level. And the birth rate has been dropping like crazy. And unfortunately, like we have these like ridiculous population estimates from the UN that need to be updated because they just don't make any sense. Really, you can just look at, say, what was the birth rate last year, how many kids were born, multiply that by the life expectancy, and say, okay, that's how many people will be alive, in the future. And then say, is the trend for birth rate positive or negative? It's negative. So that's the best case, unless something changes with the birth rate. I mean, you can look at, take Japan, for example. I think, I'm just going off memory here, but I think the population is roughly 110 million. But last year, if you take the number of children born times the life expectancy, which is 85 years, it's very impressive life expectancy, then Japan would have, I think, around 68 million people, roughly half of the current population. That does not tell the full story, because you would have an upside-down demographic pyramid. You already have an upside-down demographic pyramid where, a lot of old people, very few young people, and so how is this? That upside-down demographic pyramid is unstable.
Saturn.
I'm pro-human.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I love humanity. I think it's great.
We're glad, as a robot, that you love humans, because we love you too, and we don't want you to kill us and eat us. And
I mean, strangely, I think a lot of people don't like humanity and see it as a blight, but I do not.
Well, I think part of that is just they've been struggling. When people struggle, they associate their struggle with other people. They never internalize their problems. They look to other people as holding them back, and people suck and fuck people, and it's just, it's a never-ending cycle. But not always. Again, most people are really good. Most people, the vast majority.
This may sound corny.
It does sound corny,
but love is the answer.
It is the answer.
Yep.
What is the one thing that has surprised you about your life?
I'm surprised by the whole thing, honestly. I just, I knew I wanted to be involved in technology. In fact, the only reason I started a company back in '95, an internet company, was because I couldn't get it. There were only a few internet companies, and I couldn't get a job at any of them. So I tried to get a job at Netscape, and sent my resume in and tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to start a company because I can't get a job anywhere.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you, and congratulations. My question is for Elon. You said last week that you had told Bob and Doug's two little boys that you would do everything you can to bring them home safely. Even with a safe launch out the way, that must still weigh on you throughout the mission, though. And I wondered if you can share some personal insight into what it's like to have that responsibility, not just with your SpaceX hat on, but as a dad. Thank you.
Well, it really hit home, when you meet somebody's kids and the vehicle that they're responsible for, their life's at stake. It really hits home. There's still. So we still got to dock at the space station. We still got to return. I think there's an argument that the return is more dangerous in some ways than the ascent. So we don't want to declare victory yet. We need to bring him home safely. Make sure that we're doing everything we can to minimize that risk of re-entry and return. We were able to do that with the Demo 1 vehicle, so we were able to retire a lot of risk with the re-entry there. That's a big deal, but yeah, that's anyway, get it choked up here. So it really this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting choked up. Sorry, I'm not sure I can answer the question any more than that. Except, yeah, we're gonna do everything we can to make sure it gets home safely.
Allow me to say that the SpaceX launch of human beings to orbit on May 30th, 2020, was seen by many as the first step in a new era of human space exploration. These human spaceflight missions were a beacon of hope to me and to millions over the past 2 years as our world has been going through one of the most difficult periods in recent human history. We see the rise of division, fear, cynicism, and the loss of common humanity right when it is needed most. So first, Elon, let me say thank you for giving the world hope and reason to be excited about the future.
Oh, it's kind of you to say. I do want to do that. Humanity has obviously a lot of issues, and you know, people at times do bad things, but you know, despite all that, you know, I love humanity, and I think we should make sure we do everything we can to have a good future and an exciting future, and one where that maximizes the happiness of the people.
Let me ask about Crew Dragon Demo 2. So that first flight with humans on board, how did you feel leading up to that launch? Were you scared? Were you excited? What was going through your mind? So much was at stake.
Yeah, no, that was extremely stressful, no question. We obviously could not let them down in any way. So extremely stressful, I'd say, to say the least. But I was confident that at the time that we launched, that no one could think of anything at all to do that would improve the probability of success. And we racked our brains to think of any possible way to improve the probability of success. We could not think of anything more, and nor could NASA. And so then that's just the best that we could do. So then we went ahead and launched. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I nonetheless got on my knees and prayed for that mission.
Were you able to sleep?
No.
How did it feel when it was a success? First, when the launch was a success, and when they returned back home or back to Earth?
It was a great relief. Yeah.
This is church. Okay, so to make this church, we have to make sure. We're wondering if you could do us a quick solid and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
On the show.
Personal Lord and Savior. It's a quick prayer.
I mean, let's just say, like, I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated. And that there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings. And things like turn the other cheek are very important, because as opposed to an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. So forgiveness, is important, and treating people as you would wish to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Very important.
So it's like a 60-70% yes?
As Einstein would say, I believe in the God of Spinoza. But hey, if Jesus is saving people, I mean, I wouldn't stand in his way. I'll be sure, I'll be saved. Why not?
Sweet, we did it.
Yeah.
I think he just said yes.
We got him.
All right.
We got him.
We got him. To be saved. Sounds good.
You want to get baptized or anything real quick?
I was baptized.
Oh, okay.
Anglican,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's done.
They dunked me in the water when I was just a baby.